So I'm here to talk about my response to Hans Rosling, the magic washing machine, and Sheryl WuDunn, our century's greatest injustice. So in Hans Rosling's talk about the magic washing machine was how, like, he gave a little history of, like, when his grandmother and his mother first had the washing machine, how awesome it was, how the family came together, and how awesome electricity can run this machine, and how the one push of a button can just take away hours upon hours of just washing your clothes as like a simple task, but you can do so many other things. And some people in the world today still have to use wood and fire just to heat up water to wash their clothes or even cook. And most people, well, not most people, just and like a 1 billion people in the world or two can have all these machines that we can use, and the majority of people in the world, billions of people, still don't have that. And yeah, it's 1 billion people live above the airline, and they spend over $80 a day, and there's 2 billion people that live less than $2 a day, and they don't have any machines that they use. They live below the poverty line, and 4 billion people live between the poverty line and the airline. They have electricity. So there's 1 billion of the 4 billion live above the wash line. So 1 billion people can use a machine such as the washing machine. 4 billion can't, but they have electricity. And then there's there's 7 billion people in the world, so the last 2 billion don't have a washing machine or any machine at all. And the 4 billion people that have electricity, they spend $40 a day, which is still pretty good. I would rather spend $40 a day rather than living on $2 a day, just trying to figure out how I'm going to get my next meal or how I'm going to survive and help my family out or anybody that's around me out. And another thing he also talked about is how do most women wash their clothes? They wash by hand. So most women in the world wash their clothes by hand, which takes hours a week. Everybody wants a washing machine, but not everybody does. And one thing to help with that is population growth and economic growth will cause more energy to increase if there's more population in the world. But the rich use the most energy, and there shouldn't be people in the world that can't have this. Everybody in the world is entitled to get what they want, like, because it's not fair that that 1 billion gets to use a washing machine or any other machines for that matter, and 2 billion don't. Because I don't know, we're all equal in this world, and so shouldn't we all have the entitlement of getting what anybody else has? It shouldn't be just one person gets this and the other doesn't. But Hans Rosling also said when his mother got the washing machine, she had more time to read books to him. And so another thing is, with all these machines, we save so much time that we can spend time with our families, our friends, our kids, and help them grow up and have a happier, better life. And everybody's entitled to have a better life. So and we're all equal, so we should all help each other to get to that point. And for Sheryl, WuDunn, I think her name is, she gave an example to the real China. There was a girl named Daiju or Diamondju who was 13 years old, and at the time, and when she was in the 6th grade, her parents took her out of school because they didn't have enough money to pay the $13 fees, and they didn't want to waste their money on her. So she was put to work, but she also made her the 2-hour trip to go to that school to at least try to get as bit of information and knowledge as she could. And she was the top of her class when she was pulled out, but they got donations for her to go to school, and she ended up going and getting her a good job, and she sent money to her family, and going from like one hut to like a big family. When they got to build a new house, their village got to build a new road to connect them to the rest of China, and which was also really good. And I think it is important for everybody to get education, especially girls, because still nowadays girls don't get most girls don't get a good education than boys, and that is gender inequality. And one thing I thought was kind of interesting, that there's more males in the world than girls. I thought there was more females than males, but it's still going on today that more girls in the century are put to death, especially even when they're children, because people still want to have boys. They feel like boys are better than girls for multiple different reasons and beliefs. And there was one girl that was starving, and she was like almost dying, but her brothers were fine because her parents were feeding them more because they want them to live so they can grow up and take care of the family. But girls, we're considered not to be the provider of the family. And one thing about poverty is like the dirty little secret is spending more things on other things, like rather than spending on money that you should be spending money on. Like the majority of money is spent like on alcohol, festivals, and other things, and then a little bit of money is spent on education and stuff that's more important. But if we spent more money, a little bit more money on the education part, and if you still want to spend money on alcohol or education, it's your choice, but I think more money should go to education, because women and girls aren't the problem, they are the solution. Women should have an education like boys, and so that's why everybody in the world, like in the U.S., us girls, we have a higher education, the same as boys, so that's why we should all come together to make a movement and help save the world. This is what Sheryl wants, and I believe that is true. That not only boys should have a good education, but girls too, and that together both genders can help save the world, to make it better for everybody to have a better life. And that's why this is so important to us, and just thought that would kind of give an insight. And that's what I learned from watching these videos of both of these two people talk, and they have some good insights, and it made me realize that there's still gender inequality that is still going on. And I thought it was less, but what's that word? It's like you think that it happens less or it doesn't happen at all, but it still does. It's like hidden. So I think it's important for all of us to realize that this that inequality is still going on. We need to make sure that needs to be stopped, and we should make sure that everybody in the world is being treated equally and getting equal things. So there you go.